Now, since the last show, we have gotten a new Scream trailer. Uh, now, for as much as that franchise has been played by us, and I, I can't. It's not that I have nothing against it. I just, for some reason, I've seen three and four, but I don't remember it. I only really hardcore remember one and two. I have a fondness for them. So my knowledge of the franchise as a whole kind of really stops at two. I know some things here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
now there were two things I noticed about this trailer, which now, so people understand. Now I've watched this trailer a couple times. Gabe, I believe you said you've not watched the trailer, but on purpose.
On purpose, yes. I
Yes.
avoided it on purpose.
Okay. Now I'm only going to mention these two things, but like I believe you said, a lot of it's been spoiled for you anyway.
Another reason why I haven't watched the
Yeah,
trailer. Yeah.
you don't need to. The mental art is better. Um, but no, the viciousness of it, like, and I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean this in a bad way. Like I was telling Gabe earlier, I'm like, it was one of those situations where I'm watching the trailer and it literally just like stopped me in my tracks, not like in an offended way or like, oh, like this doesn't make sense. It was just like that that imagery of just him not giving a fuck in the convenience store with the shotgun. Just, I mean, to be fair, I mean that shit happens every day. But given the context of the movie series, like I said, I was saying I'm like that's actually something that you want your horror movie to do is when people watch it, they're like, "Holy shit." You want them to kind of get stopped in their tracks. I guess that's a good thing, right?
You're playing back to what I said last, or God, that was 2 weeks ago. That Argento quote about not shooting people on screen because people don't
Oh
know
yeah.
how it feels. But not everybody has been a victim of violent crime, but you hear about it. If you've ever grown up in a small town, you probably have heard about it. If you grew up in a big city, you turn on the news, there you go. It happens every day. That is innovative for the franchise alone just because that's bringing Scream into the real world again, like the first movie did when it was already based off of the
It's going
Gainesville Ripper
the whole meta route. Just this is like
again,
the next level of 3D chess or 4D chess or
we're
whatever it
on
is.
5D chess now, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Um so I was quite impressed by that. Just only in the sense where I'm just like I mean literally it's a line in the trailer where I'm like I've not seen a ghost face like this before and he's like I'm not like any other one. Literally what he fucking says. But based on that trailer so far, I'm like, okay. Now, there was something else I noticed. Now, I don't know if this is just me. But there was something I kind of noticed, and it's like I said, it's the only reason I wish you would have seen the trailer. But again, I understand why. But there's a moment in it where a part of me thought, and I'm like, are they are they going the same route as Halloween with the cult? And I was like, because I'm like sitting here and I'm like this feels different, and I'm not saying in a bad way, but I'm like there's some peripheral messaging that I may be misinterpreting, but at the same time, I'm like this feels familiar. And then there was there's one scene in the trailer, and like I said, it's one of those things where in the trailer there's not really a whole lot of context to go off of it, but there is kind of like a showroom setting where it has what I believe to be that. I don't think they actually say it, but it looks like it's every single actual Ghostface costume that each killer wore, like kind of like in a museum style presentation on mannequins. Like that's the one from the two dudes from one. This is the one from two. The different ones. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, well, they're not gonna fucking just make like a national museum like that. So I'm like, this has got to be in somebody's fucking basement, like some cult warehouse.
The cult of Ghostface.
Yeah, that's what. There was a part of me where I'm like, are they going this route? Are they going this route?
Well, it was hinted at in the fifth one.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask because, like I said, my hardcore knowledge of it really stops at two. Like so
They,
okay.
I mean, if you because we tore it apart on the Fright Fest Theater podcast about how the movie basically ripped all of the, not to use the term lightly, but the Reddit neckbeards, because they even mentioned, I think, Reddit specifically. Um, they rip them apart for being these overzealous fans that think that they can do it better, and they will go to any length to prove it. And I think the one of the killers even mentioned it, that the fan base was so rabid over how shitty the last Stab movie was that they were all willing to put things into their own hands. So the cult of Ghostface, this might be the first Scream movie where you have more than two killers. This might be it could be like the movie Clue. You could have like everybody on the damn poster killed somebody by the end of it type deal, and that would be fine too. They've already done just one killer once, and that's fine. But I would like maybe that'll be the meta for it. Will be it's taking place in New York, where violent crime can happen to anybody, and it could happen from anybody. So you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 killers maybe by the end of it.
As long as like I would be fine with that, but I just had a haunting flash in my mind and I don't like it. And I'm like, as long I'm fine if there's like if you're gonna have like a group type thing, but don't there's a part of me that feels like this could be used in a metaphor way to shit on like the trope of like the hardcore fan that bitches about everything online. Like the group of killers is the people who nitpick and think that they know everything and everybody else is shit. You know what I mean?
Which they kind of did with the last one already.
Okay, god damn it.
But I mean, if that's the case, though, Scream, I think I fixed it.
There you go.
Scream, because it was picking up every time I was holding it anyway. Scream movies always like to be on the current thing, and I mean, this was on my viewpoint, a tedious argument that happened between uh, some others in our friend group about the new poster that is the one with the Empire State Building in the background, the ghost face draped over it. It's an okay poster. But that is the new style of posters. And all Scream movies have always had to present all of the characters on it because it's showing you, anybody on this poster could actually be the killer, just so you know. But
let me look at that real quick, just because there's been a discussion about another franchise's posters too, and I want to see if they fucking do the same shit.
But it's the Avengers poster. It's the same sort of deal.
Okay, that's literally the franchise I was talking about. Yeah.
And I don't like it because, well, I don't particularly think that they're being all that innovative, but
there it is. Yeah.
Some people vehemently dislike it. Some people think it's fine. I mean,
you're talking about the poster?
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing, because the conversations that I've been listening to lately revolving around the Marvel posters, where it's pretty much just like a face pyramid of everybody in the movie. Now, the one thing that I think a lot of people overlook or don't pay attention to, and that's fine because this is like contract shit. Like, the average person's not supposed to pay attention to this shit. But most of the time, if not every time, contracts with actors and actresses and shit. It's not just pertaining to the movie. Like there's marketing involved and stuff
Mm.
like that, and it's like you're selling their name. So of course there's you got to be on the poster. Like I guarantee you that there's arguments that go down, not saying between actors themselves, but at least their handlers about like which actor gets like how much bigger this actor gets to be than the other on the poster. You know, shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's all, what the problem is the lack of creativity on the actual marketing department, where it's just kind of like, oh, fuck it. And to be fair, maybe their hands are tied because of the situation with the contracts and whatnot. But
Sure.
uh, the solution that I've heard, or at least not so much solution, I don't want to act like there's a problem, but the thing that I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and it's something that once I heard it, I'm like, I don't understand why the fuck they didn't do this to begin with anyway. This will only help the Marvel section. This won't help Scream, but comics are known to have variant covers due to face pyramid poster, but then have an actual comic book artist do comic book art creative fucking poster. Sell that shit.
Well, they have the map poster. They have the I Heart New York poster, which is a great callback to Jason Takes Manhattan. It was the best part of that marketing campaign, I think, was the Jason stabbing through it. You have alternate. You have alternate poster. That's not a new thing. That has been around
Yeah.
forever. And you know what? If this is the final poster, it comes down to what's fashionable with current marketing, which
Yeah.
is why. Do you remember? Do you remember E3 when Fallout 4 got announced and everybody was all hyped about it because we were expecting an announcement about the game, but not that the game was going to come out 2 months after the announcement,
Oh
or
shit.
2 or 3 months.
That was a hot minute ago, but I vaguely okay.
So when that happened, that was the first time I've ever seen attention drawn to the fact that video game marketing had gone to shotgun marketing because they realized that if somebody was waiting long enough for something, they didn't have to advertise it for a year or more, saying that this was in production. You can show up at an award show in July and say, my game will be out in November. Here's all the pre order information and all the goodies you can get with it. And you're not spending, you know, double the budget to make good marketing at that point because you only have to market it for 3 months. Now, granted, you're going to market it heavy during those 3 months, but you're going to do it that way. This is the same sort of deal, I feel like, where you have this final poster on here and the final teaser to lead up into it because you're trying to garner hype for it. But like the video game shotgun marketing that happened, not every, but I would say most video game companies after that Fallout 4 announcement happened, I started noticing they're announcing the games 3 to 4 months before they come out now because they realize I don't have to market it as far. Resident Evil's been an exception because Capcom always stays quiet with a lot of their projects anyway, but even they, were like, Resident Evil 4 is going to be out in March. And, I think there was 4 or 5 months between that announcement. So it's not like that has to be the last end all be all. You can have any different poster, and I guarantee you that some of the smaller theaters might not even use that one because the press kits that they get are probably going to have the road map or the subway map and all of that. But this one is what the current marketing thing is and what is recognizable, the Avengers posters.
Yeah.
And people are going to notice that. I'm looking at it right now and I'm still like, I don't hate it.
Yeah, no.
It's generic, but it's generic because everybody's doing those posters now because of what was making the most money at the time.
The other thing that I think is obvious too, and most smart marketing teams already count on this, but part of the reason I think the shotgun method works so much better is because you've got people like us where it's just like if we even hear a rumbling of something that we're interested in is being talked about somewhere else, we will be the hype. They don't need something until they're ready.
You don't need street teams anymore.
Yeah. So it's like you just use the internet. Let the speculators speculate, drum up the hype for you, and then even better, pretty much what Marvel does is just like, hey, we're putting out a trailer for this on this date. So then you've already got like everybody's like, all right, I'm gonna watch that shit. And then you basically get a teaser, which is just like a minute, if that, and then you get the big trailer, and that's it. Where you don't need to make 3 or 4 different trailers now. I mean, if it's going to be a big epic thing, maybe you do that, but uh, you don't really have to at this point.
And to go back to what we talked about 2 weeks ago. Uh, Metal Gear Solid 5 with the New Order Elegia trailer, the horror trailer, what we kind of refer to it as around here now because it made the game look like it was going to be a horror game, and the song didn't help. But that alone was just a mix of gameplay footage and cutscenes that they put a very cool track over, and people's minds went crazy. I remember on one of the on one of the Metal Gear conspiracy theory threads about the game, there were people over analyzing frame by frame that trailer, and it's like that kind of rabid fan base, which is what Scream 5 was about. And see, it all comes back around. They had us do the marketing for them, and that's the smart way to do it. You garner hype by just doing little things like that. Frankly, with the whole trailer thing, instead of doing one long 3-minute trailer, maybe break those down into 45-second teaser trailers.
Yeah.
And that way you're not getting a complete image there and only one little thing. Stuff like that. Different styles of marketing again, but at the end of the day, what's the end result? We're sitting here talking about it. Everyone on the internet's talking about it. Love the poster or hate the poster. Guess what?
Getting talked about.
it's still getting mentions. That's why I follow Barstool Sports on Instagram, and they post all the non-sports related shit, and you see people in the comments saying, I'm unfollowing because this is not sports. I hate what this site's become. And it's like, because you're posting this, you're putting interactions on it, and they're going to keep posting that stuff until you stop and they realize what direction to take the company in. It's the same sort of deal with movies and trailers and everything.
Yeah, I agree. And well, that's what I was trying to remember. So like the best example I can see right now is, I believe there's been only 2 I wasn't gonna say anything.
I just realized my Jax, stop.
I'm sure that's TOS somewhere.
Am I breaking toss at this point? I don't know.
But no, the recently, there you go, is the upcoming Friday the 13th show. I think we've only gotten like 2 little promotional images, not saying anything. Like, there's no act. It's not. It's just art. that the fact that it's even happening, but people are going hog wild and just fucking talking about it.
And I think one of them isn't even official art.
Yeah,
it's fan art that's getting passed around as real art, which happens again far too often. Because I'm still waiting on that Nightmare on Elm Street movie from 2017 that they said he was going to meet Chucky. Interesting, never happened.
But we shall see what happens with that. I liked that trailer. It sparked some questions, and that's what you want a trailer to do.